Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And yesterday we had a sneak peek at 11 p.m. followed up shortly by patch notes a few hours later. So we're going to get to the patch notes. I just want to quickly look at the sneak peek. Obviously the patch notes tell us everything that's going to be in the sneak peek, but the sneak peek, the people that worked on it worked very hard. It's actually a really cool sneak peek. So let's just check it out at the beginning of the video here. We see some birds. We see the roof, or like the opening at the top of this gigantic structure. We see a hooded figure, and then we see those typical Mystic Arts insignias. We see this like mirror dimension, box dimension thing, which was looking like what Ancient One sent Doctor Strange into in the first movie, when she, sends him into his astral form, and he goes through all those different, like, he sees the dark dimension, he sees all the butterflies and stuff. Really cool. So this is Ancient One. This was the sneak peek yesterday for Ancient One getting a brand new uniform and brand new powers, which we'll talk about. And if you're very hawk-eyed, and you see here in the clouds, it's very cool. Like, I gotta say, man, this is just so cool. It kind of sucks. They should have released this sneak peek yesterday, so we would have had a full day to appreciate it. But like, it's so cool, man, and everyone's gonna forget about it because they're just focused on the patch notes. But yeah, you can see tier 3 there in the clouds. This is a really clever tier 3 announcement. I really love this, so big shout out to the sneak peek team. I think this looks absolutely gorgeous, and I would love that as like a screensaver or something on my computer. So yeah, Ancient One is getting some upgrades. Let's go check out in the patch notes. So this is a rolling patch. This is going to be a rolling patch to introduce a new uniform for Ancient One, a new uniform for Baron Mordo, and then a tier 3 for Ancient One, and then Transcendence upgrades for Mordo, Cynicalex, and Clea, and new artifacts for them as well. And then there's a bunch of events that I'll make a separate video about. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that later in the day. But this is a rolling patch. There's no maintenance, and it's going to start... it's going to start at 11, or sorry, excuse me, at 10 p.m. No, 8 p.m. Pacific, which is 11 p.m. Eastern tonight. So it's about, let's see, 13 hours from when this video drops. You can sort of do the math on that, depending on where you are. So here we go. We got new uniform for Ancient One, still Blast female superhero. They're going back to the regular 40% discount. So the 50% is gone, which it is what it is. We get a new uniform effect for Ancient One that increases only to herself, though, not to all allies. Increases her buffs, her debuffs, and again gives her skill damage, bonus damage. The really nice stuff is here. It seems like Ancient One is going to be at least a better support. She may also be a damage dealer, and she has a really cool tier 3 animation, but she's also going to be an even better support than before. So her leadership is now 50% energy attack to all blast types. She has passives that gives her guaranteed crit rate and crit damage, which is very nice, and energy reflect, which is kind of interesting. And then the tier 2 passive, which is where the support comes into play. All allies are going to get 30% resistances, so that's 30% fire, lightning, poison, mind, and cold resistance. So that's good for PvP and PvE because of things like, Mephisto, World Boss Legend. 30% ignore dodge, which is great. It's a 5% increase. And then 40% increase elemental damage. Now, not a lot of people know this, but that's what Ancient One does. She increases your elemental damage. So think of her passive as a better version of Storm's elemental passive. It's 40%. So you can put her on a team with Shadow Shell, and she'll increase Shadow Shell's poison damage by 40%. You can put her on a team with Scarlet Witch, and she'll increase Scarlet Witch's mind damage by 40%. And you can sort of get the idea there. It's any elemental damage gets increased by 40%, which is awesome. And then her skills, honestly, leave a little bit to the imagination. I would like to have seen a bit more in the skill effects here. I don't really see too much that's too exciting, but we have to wait and see how it plays out in game, because she is keeping a lot of the same effects, like the invisibility, which is nice, and the immunity. She's gaining a bunch of frenzy buffs. She also has removes debuffs and a heal to all allies on the 5th skill, so we'll have to see if that becomes the striker skill, because that's now a very strong skill. It's healing and debuff. Before, Ancient One had those two abilities separated, right? So Ancient One's 3rd skill would remove debuffs. Ancient One's 5th skill would give you the heal bubble, but not both. So now they're both on one skill, which does make it a more potent skill. But it really, we have to wait and see if that's the skill that she strikes with. Because if it's not, then you may have to choose Well, you may have to equip the old uniform to get that effect as a striker, because now the ancient... Well, it still does ancient cure, so it may still do the same effect in a hidden buff, but it doesn't explicitly state on the third skill that it removes debuffs. It just has paralysis, all defense down, and invincibility. So yeah, long cooldowns for Ancient One, no accumulation, no new spicy effects that we've never seen before. So I'm a little bit curious what it's going to look like. And then we have Baron Mordo. The one thing I think a lot of players are going to point out immediately for Baron Mordo is that he does not have the magic or the mystic ability. Now, you can argue that maybe he doesn't deserve it or blah, 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 but I think he does. Straight up. There are not that... The best example or the best explanation, I would say, is that there's just not that many characters who have the... Okay. There's not that many... There's not that many characters that have the magic ability. Now, Mordo didn't have it before, so it's not like they took something away that he had, but still, I think that he should have it. Now, he does have it with his base kit, so you can sort of take that for what it is. So they sort of took it away, but they took it away 5 years ago. So yeah, I still think they should have given it back to him. I still think they should give it back to him. It's not a very big deal, and it just means that you can use him with Wong support, and it makes Wong support a little bit better. I think that's totally fine. I think they should absolutely retroactively add the magic ability to him. Now, he's getting some pretty interesting effects, sort of PvE, sort of PvP. His uniform effect, when he's hit, he has an 80% chance to just cleanse debuffs, become immune to energy damage, and then reflect energy damage back. This is a pretty common theme in Mordo's kit, where he sort of rejects magic, which may be why he doesn't have the magic ability. But anyways, I digress. His passive now gives him a heal when he uses his 4th skill, Blade Whip, for 8 seconds with 8-second cooldown. So every 8 seconds he can get 20% heal, which is not bad. He never had a heal before. And then it also gives him a damage proc. So this is interesting because you can line this up. We'll see how his abilities go. If you could do like a 5 cancel 4 proc, then that could line up really well. Then Mordo will always have a stacking 100% proc. That could be pretty spicy. Not as good as a 200% proc like we see on Dr. Octopus and other characters, but not bad. You can take a 200 proc and now turn it into a 300 proc, so that's pretty good. And then his tier 2 passive gives him guaranteed dodge, damage reduction, and skill damage bonus damage. No guaranteed crit rate, no crit damage or anything like that, no accumulation. So he does lean a little bit towards PvP in some ways. Wizard's Punishment sounds like a really cool skill. We'll have to see what that looks like. With a guard hit, he has penetration chance and paralysis and a frenzy buff, and then another frenzy buff. So a lot of double frenzy buffs for these characters. I don't know. It feels kind of 2020 to me in a little way, but I could be just a bit, cynical about it. So let's see what happens. And then we get a new tier 3 for Ancient One. It's a very, very cool, very, very cool animation. I know it's just an animation, but I'm a sucker for the magic type stuff, and this just looks really cool, man. Like, Doctor Strange still takes the cake for the coolest magic tier 3 because he duplicates himself, and it's from Infinity War, but this is pretty close. This is pretty close to being as cool, and it's just like this cacophony of magic. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's this cacophony of magic signs that are just like reverberating and massive hits, bro. This thing clocks up to like 900 hits. That's really nice because there's only like 9 or 10 targets, so it's close to 100 hits on one skill. It's very, very nice. The effect itself removes all buffs from target for 1 second, and if that's refreshing, then it's the exact same effect that Doctor Strange's tier 3 has. If that's the case, then you may be able to flexibly use Ancient One in any Shadowland stage as long as you pop the tier 3. That is definitely something to keep in mind. That's quite strong. The rest of the tier 3 skill seems pretty straightforward, so nothing too spicy to write home about. For Mordo, Cynicalex, and Clea, they're getting a Transcendent skill together. Again, nothing too spicy here. Like, he increases his crit damage by 50%, so it goes up above 200% if you have it capped. That's okay, but otherwise, yeah, no accumulation, nothing too crazy here. It's actually really cool, again, the animation, where the characters walk out of a portal, sort of like Endgame. That's pretty dope. And then you see, of course, purple for Clea. You see gold colored, yellow color for Cynicalex, and then green for Mordo. So it looks pretty nice in that sense. But someone pointed out, and I actually kind of agree with them, I think it would have been cooler, and again, it's sort of up for debate, it's subjective, Ancient One transcended skill with Mordo and Caecilius, since Ancient One trained both Mordo and Caecilius, and then Clea tier 3. Clea is sort of the odd one out here, or I guess Caecilius is sort of the odd one out here, since they're sort of at odds with each other, being heroes and villains, at least from the original Doctor Strange movie, because we haven't seen them since then. But, you know, I can still understand why they gave Ancient One the tier 3, Ancient One, Sorcerer Supreme kind of thing. I mean, Clea's been Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, anyways, it's fine. Yeah, this is fine, but there's also, I think, another way that it could have gone that would have been pretty cool as well. And then we have the new artifacts for Ancient One, Baron, Mordo, Caecilius, and Clea, and the best way I can summarize these again is you don't have to worry about them. They're okay. They just increase the damage. I think whoever, in my opinion, whoever's been working on the artifacts has gotten kind of conservative and kind of lazy. Well, I don't want to say lazy, that's kind of mean, but they've just sort of gotten comfortable with the effect. So we're seeing a lot of repeat stuff, you know, just increases damage to villains, decreases damage receives, decreases damage receives, increases damage to heroes, right? And then we have some ones that are just kind of not that good. So this is, and keep in mind, this is the 6-star artifact. So they might get, you know, the activation rate could be lower with lower star levels, but this is only a 20% chance when he dodges to activate these effects. And these effects for Baron Mordo are particularly sad. Ignore dodge 20% for 5 seconds, and iframe ignore for 5 seconds every 10 seconds. That's pretty bad, dude. Why did they have to give it a 20% chance to activate when he dodges? This should have been a 100% chance when he dodges. So there's that. And then for Clea, this probably is now in competition for the worst artifact in the game. So yeah, the pool dilutes itself further. Clea's artifact gives her cooldown, skill cooldown, yes, and then all attack. It's actually not as bad as Luna's, because Luna's makes you invest in a useless stat called cold resistance, but it's pretty close. If you have Clea's artifact, chances are you don't need skill cooldown because you have it on your cards, because you understand the basic foundation of how to play Marvel Future Fight. So this just I don't know what's going on here. Listen, if you're watching this, whoever made up this artifact, there's two answers here. You made a mistake, which is fine. You should admit it to your bosses and, you know, fix it. Or you genuinely have no idea how Marvel Future Fight works. You're just genuinely clueless. Unless they're going to do something where they raise the cap on skill cooldown above 50%. I have no idea. But this is really lazy and like just borderline stupid, I would say. So I'm a little bit disappointed with the artifacts because they're so expensive. And to add shitty artifacts is almost worse than adding overpowered ones. You know what? It is worse. It is worse. I would rather these artifacts be overpowered to compensate for these characters not being that strong than having the character get a transcended skill, no uniform, and a shitty artifact. It's sort of like slapping you in the face, twist your nipple, and then punch you in the balls, right? It's like the triple combo. And they don't really deserve that, right? And Clea doesn't even have balls. Well, metaphorically she does, but yeah. So anyways, that's a disappointment. The rest of the update's not a disappointment, so it's, here are some things I like, here are some things I don't like, and then some bug fixes. So yeah, the events, I have to say, if you have a bad taste in your mouth about what I just said regarding the artifacts and what I said about the, you know, the way that their skills and the skill effects don't look that spicy, this feels sort of 2020, 2021, there's no accumulation, there's no new effects, there's no, you know, crazy stuff. If you feel like that, go and read ahead of time, go and read the events, or wait for my video a little bit later today. That will really set you at ease because there's so many events, there's so many gifts, so many login things. It's going to be absolutely hype, even if this doesn't get you very hype. So yeah, this is sort of a shot across the bow. I hope the people making the game watch this and know that we're always expecting just a little bit more. And they can't really take a seat back and bring, you know, the B team in. If it was the B team that made this update, fire them and bring out the A team and don't let the A team go. Stop lending out the A team to Marvel Future Revolution. All right, we deserve them. Anywho, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Smash the like button. I'll see you later today for another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Same thing. Take care.